Hello and welcome back to Nunchuck and the fourth video of the Ultimate Nunchuck series, where today I'll be teaching you throws. Before I begin, I would highly suggest looking at my previous videos before looking at this one, or to have some sense of how to spin nunchucks. If you try to step directly in learning throws, you'll probably be very frustrated because you'll be making very slow progress. However, if you instead go and progress through the different moves and the different levels of nunchuck spinning, you will have a much easier time learning your throws. Throws are interesting because whereas with other moves where I can tell you exactly what to do, like say for instance take your nunchuck, put it under your arm, perform a strike and bring it back and tuck it underneath, with throws they're a lot more individual, so it depends on your nunchucks, it depends on the conditions you're in, it depends on the height of your ceilings, and it depends on your feel for the nunchucks. So whereas with other moves I can tell you to do this, this, and this, and then you'll perform the move perfectly, with throws it's a lot more trial and error and figuring out the feel of your nunchucks and the area you're in order to get a better feel for performing throws. However, I can give you some guidelines and some basic concepts that will get you throwing a lot faster. So let's get right into it. One of the first things that you should definitely know about your throws is that you need momentum. If your nunchucks don't have momentum and there's no tension on the string part of the nunchuck, your throws will fly all over the place and will be uncontrollable. In order to keep that tension on the chain part of the string, what you need is your nunchucks to spin, because this will cause an angular acceleration, which will cause your nunchucks to stay extended like this while they're going through the air. This is very important because if your nunchucks go up in a controlled manner, then they will come back down from your throw in a controlled manner, allowing you to catch the nunchuck a lot more easily. And the important part of any throw is often the catch, because anyone can throw a nunchuck, but catching it is very important and is obviously an essential part of any throw. However, in order to have control over your nunchuck as you're catching it, you'll need to throw it in a way that will allow it to be caught. That may be a bit confusing to understand at first, but let's get into our first move and I'll show you how. Our first move is also one of my favorite throws because it is so easy to perform and will become a very fluid throw that you can perform over and over again in a controlled way. And this throw is called your controlled throw. Start off in a simple front grip. What you'll be doing is using a front grip to back grip wrist roll, which we learned in the previous video, in order to go into our throw. This will give us the momentum we need in order to release our nunchuck properly and allow it to continue rotating through the air in the right direction. So perform your front grip to back grip wrist roll. Then use the momentum from that swing to allow the nunchuck to rotate upwards in front of your body and release the nunchuck so that it will follow this path and a spin going upwards in front of you. Using your nunchucks that are spinning in the air, you'll be positioning your hand, which just released the nunchucks, with your palm facing off to the side and your thumb pointing downwards with your fingers out in front of you like this, in front of your body, and allow the nunchuck that is swinging around to rotate into your hand. This is very important because you don't want to try and reach for the nunchuck and go out and grab wherever it's spinning. What you want to do is allow the nunchuck to rotate into your hand so that you have complete control over it, and it looks a lot cooler than if you're trying to grab around and pull the nunchucks out of the air. So it goes front grip to back grip wrist roll, release, catch with your palm in front of your body, open hand like this, allowing the nunchuck to rotate into it, and allow the other end of the nunchuck to continue spinning in that same direction. If you don't keep your nunchuck spinning continuously in the same direction, you'll not have the speed you need in order to perform a controlled throw. This is also called our back grip to back grip throw because even though we're starting in a front grip, we're performing our front grip to back grip wrist roll and then catching the nunchuck in a back grip, which means that actually we're going from a back grip to a back grip, and the wrist roll is only there to get us on the right track and the right amount of momentum in order to perform our throw. In order to have the most control over your nunchucks after you've thrown them, allow them to perform 1.5 rotations in the air before catching them. You'll get a feel for how much your nunchucks will rotate and how high you need to throw them in order to get a perfect throw each time. So one more time, from a front grip to back grip wrist roll, release the nunchuck, allow it to spin through the air, perform 1.5 rotations before positioning your hand in front of your body with your thumb pointing downwards and your palm open, allowing the nunchuck to rotate into your hand and continue spinning. For extra bonus points, you can adapt this move and position it inside of your ultimate figure eight after you've performed your front grip to back grip wrist roll, and you can integrate that throw, still being a back grip, and continue spinning. We learned our ultimate figure eight in the last video, part 3. By integrating this move into your ultimate figure eight, you'll be mixing it up a little bit and be able to add a cool sequence to that move. Another cool throw that you should be able to learn really easily if you know your wrist rolls is your front grip to front grip throw. A front grip to front grip wrist roll already is sort of a throw because the chain of the nunchuck will not wrap around the back of your hand like it would for other wrist rolls. For this reason, all you have to do to adapt this move into a front grip to front grip throw is allow the nunchuck to fly a little bit higher and rotate a bit further before reaching in to catch your nunchuck. So all that we have to do is, like for our front grip to front grip wrist roll, is allow the nunchuck to rotate downwards in front of our body and upwards off to the side. This time, however, you'll be integrating a lot more speed in order to give the nunchuck the kick it needs in order to release it and fly through the air, spinning downwards in front of your body and upwards off to the side. All you have to do now is position your palm in front of you with your thumb pointing upwards this time and your palm pointing off to the side, and allow the nunchuck that is spinning through the air to rotate into your hand, allowing you to grab the nunchuck as it is spinning around. So like you would for a front grip to front grip wrist roll, like I just did, you'll be releasing the nunchuck, allowing it to fly a little bit further, and you can do it with an arc or you can perform it straight up, allowing the nunchuck to rotate in front of your body before positioning your hand in front of your body and allowing the nunchuck to rotate into it. Along the same lines is our very simple front grip to back grip throw. For this, you're starting in a front grip, but instead of rotating downwards in front of your body and upwards off the side like we just did for our front grip to front grip throw, we will be rotating upwards in front of our body and downwards off the side like we did for our back grip to back grip throw. From this, what you'll be doing is just allowing the nunchuck to swing in a front grip before releasing it, allowing it to fly upwards, before positioning our hand with our thumb pointing downwards in front of our body and allowing the nunchuck to rotate into that before swinging the other end around. So simply from a front grip, allow the nunchuck to fly upwards, perform 1 or 2 spins in the air before catching it with your thumb pointing downwards in front of your body. And finally, in this category, we also have our back grip to front grip wrist roll, which is also very simple. All you're doing is allowing the nunchuck to rotate downwards in front of your body and upwards off to the side in a back grip before releasing the nunchuck, allowing it to fly upwards through the air, continue spinning in that direction before positioning your hand with your thumb pointing upwards this time in front of your body. The direction that you spin your nunchucks will determine in which grip you will catch them. This is because if you spin your nunchucks downwards in front of your body and upwards off to the side, you have to position your hand with your thumb pointing upwards in front of you to catch the nunchuck in a front grip. If you spin your nunchucks upwards in front of your body and downwards off the side, you'll be positioning your hand with your thumb pointing downwards in order to catch the nunchuck in a back grip. So it doesn't matter which grip you're holding onto your nunchucks with before the throw. The relevant part is which direction you spin in order to determine in which grip you will be catching your nunchucks. So once again, it's downwards in front of your body and upwards off to the side for a front grip, because you'll be positioning your hand with your thumb pointing upwards, and it will be upwards in front of your body and downwards off the side for a back grip catch, where you're positioning your thumb pointing downwards. So just like for your wrist rolls, rotating your nunchucks this way will end up in a back grip, and rotating them this way will end up in a front grip. I say upwards and downwards instead of clockwise and counterclockwise because if you're using your other hand, say your left hand or your right hand, it will be different in which direction you have to spin for each move, making it very confusing. However, if I say upwards in front of your body, where the nunchucks, when it is in front of you, is spinning upwards, then it will be the same on both sides and allow you to perform the moves on both sides. Along these same lines, we also have our transfer throws, where we're bringing the nunchuck from one side over the other with a throw. If you know your normal throws, these will be very easy to adapt to because all you're doing is starting from one hand and bringing it over the other. The same rules for grips still apply, so if you're trying to end up in a front grip, you have to make sure that the nunchucks are rotating upwards off the side and downwards in front of you on the side which you're catching the nunchucks. So it's irrelevant with which hand you're throwing the nunchucks. The relevant part is that relative to the hand which is going to catch the nunchucks are moving in the right direction and spinning properly. This will allow you to adapt both of the grips to both hands, allowing you to transfer your nunchucks between grips and hands using throws. So instead of just performing your throws on one side, you'll be able to transfer them over and use both hands and integrate all of your moves into a very diverse routine. The next throw that I'll be showing you, and one that I really like, is your horizontal throw. I like this one because it's more of a hop than an actual throw, and it feels cool to perform. Our baseline for this move is our horizontal wrist rolls, like we learned in the last video. This is important because you'll need the momentum from your wrist rolls in order to allow the nunchucks to rotate horizontally. To perform this throw, start off at your opposite waist, so your arm is going across your body downwards to the opposite side. Here you'll be performing a redirect and allowing your nunchuck to rotate in front of your body outwards like this. Here what you'll be doing is performing a partial front grip to back grip wrist roll, but what you'll be doing is pulling upwards slightly, allowing the nunchucks to follow your hand before releasing them to continue spinning. The next step is to position your hand with your thumb pointing towards you and your palm off to the side like this, allowing the nunchuck to rotate into your hand as it is spinning horizontally. From here you can keep the nunchuck spinning horizontally and bring it over to the same waist in which you're holding onto the nunchuck. So after your redirect, you're using that momentum to perform a little hop before bringing your nunchucks in a horizontal fashion back to the same side in which you're holding onto them. I like horizontal moves like this because they allow a much wider audience to have a visual of what you're doing instead of just the people directly in front of you like more traditional throws. And finally, another kind of cool but different throw to perform is your simple stalled throw. In this case, all you're doing is holding onto the nunchucks with both ends, allowing them to fly upwards in the air before catching it with one of your hands. It's that simple. I wouldn't suggest overusing this move because if you're just throwing your nunchucks in the air like this all the time, it won't really be as cool. But if you're performing other types of controlled throws and then all of a sudden decide to integrate one of these into there, then it may look pretty interesting. But like I said at the very beginning, if you want to be able to perform consistent throws, you do need that rotation in there in order to keep tension on the chain part of the nunchuck and allow your nunchucks to rotate in the same way every time. When it comes to catching your nunchucks, it may take some time for you to get used to how your nunchucks are moving through the air and how to position your hand, how to release the nunchucks so that they rotate properly. But this is all for you to figure out because you have an individual set of nunchucks and will need to get a feel for how your nunchucks are spinning. However, what may help you is that in the beginning, it is definitely okay in order to watch the nunchucks as they're flying through the air and allow you to position your hand properly before the nunchuck rotates into that point. This is very important in the beginning because you'll need to know where the nunchucks are located, but later on, once you get more of a feel, try to stop watching the nunchucks as they're spinning around and start to feel where they're going to go based on the throw, allowing you to keep your eye on the audience without ever looking at your nunchucks and how to catch them. So I hope that you found this tutorial useful. If you'd like to see any more in-depth tutorials to any of the moves that I covered today, then be sure to check out the individual videos of these moves that I have on my channel. Also, if you'd like to look at some different types of throws, I've covered a variety of throws on my channel, so be sure to check out those as well.